Hello and welcome to Active and Healthy with Gina. And I'm very excited about today's show. I've got two very special guests here to do the exercises. I have got Abida and I have got Terry, and they're going to do our 10 minutes of Ageless Grace that you're going to be able to do at home. So remember, if this is your first time, what I always say, the voice of the body is always wise. So we want you to move within your own range of movement and motion, what is comfortable for you. And then after the break, I'm very, very excited. We're going to have two guests. I've got another gentleman in the studio. He's going to join Terry, and both these gentlemen live with Parkinson's. But you're going to be inspired by their stories and the possibilities of realizing that you can have a totally different experience maybe than what you or your family members might be having with Parkinson's at the moment. But let's get going. Let's start our Ageless Grace exercises. We're actually going to be doing 4 little exercises. So are you ready, Abida? Yes? You are? Fantastic. You're ready? Terry's ready? Terry comes to my classes already, so he's a little bit more used to me. This is going to be Abida's first time doing a class with me, but it's just for you to see how easy it is to do at home. So we're going to hit some music, and we're just going to start these bodies moving, and we're starting with our hands today. So let's just get our hands out, and we're going to have some music, and we're just going to start them gently moving. This is all about your wrist and your finger dexterity. So just do some circles to begin with. That's nice. Just going one direction. Lovely. That's good. Perfect, perfect. And change direction. Lower the hands a little so it's not so much strain on your shoulders. That's great. That looks good. Come on, hands down here, hands down here. Now we're stretching these fingers out and together. Stretch and close. Stretch and close. Stretch and close. Stretch and close. Well done, everybody. Now we're going to turn that into a little fist. So we turn it into a stretch and a fist. Stretch and a fist. Stretch and a fist. Perfect. Now we're just going to be tapping our fingers because we're working on finger dexterity. So it's thumb, tapping just with the index finger to begin with. And we're moving through the fingers, so now the thumb and the middle finger together. So just tap them. That's good. Now the ring finger. Quicker. Perfect. And the little finger as well, the pinky. Shake the hands out. I want you now to imagine you are turning a jar. So open your jar with your wrist. What have you got in your jar, Abida? Jam, strawberry jam. Oh, I like strawberry jam. Terry, what's in yours? Chocolates. Chocolates. Hey, oh, even better. I've got to go and open, use the other hand. I want the chocolates. So whatever your thing is just great. Oh, both hands, both together. Some of these songs are quite short, so we might not have time to do everything. But there we are, loosening up the wrists and the fingers. Right, our next exercise is going to be doing shapes. So one hand out. All right, we're going to start with just a circle. So this is 3 shapes. We do circles, we do triangles, and we do lines. So with the opposite leg, opposite one, we're just going to lift it in a line. That's nice. So we're just opposite one to what the hand is doing. Opposite leg. Opposite leg. It's so easy. The brain's got to think about it. Opposite to the hand. Again, it's a real conscious movement. So we always have got to balance one side. So change sides, do a smaller circle, keep the arm down. If the shoulder hurts, I want you to keep the arm lower. And we're just going to lift this leg up. So the leg is now doing opposites again. Fantastic. So we got a circle and we got a line going. You're both doing great. Thanks, Terry. Well done. Okay, now what about a triangle with our elbow? Imagine drawing a pyramid. Elbows up here. Keep the legs still for the moment. Pyramid. So a dot, line here, and up. So we're just thinking of doing a pyramid shape. So we keep that one going to begin with. And then the foot, opposite foot, is going to do a circle. So this is where the brain is now thinking, whoopsie daisy, I've got to do a circle. That's a very weird triangle. I do really weird shapes every week. One side's often better than the other. Let's try the other elbow. Rest that one. Let's try the other elbow, Terry. See how that triangle is on that side. And the foot's got to be doing that circle. I don't think this is any easier. This exercise is particularly good for neuroplasticity in the brains. I think our brains are being massaged there. Our third exercise today is going to be about getting the lower body moving. This is our dance party. So we're going to make the legs little march.
I'm not broken, I'm just split into
Yeah. And we're going to take one leg in and out. So here goes. Just one in and out. And do the beat out and in. Out and in. Finding the music beat as well. Very important. Doesn't matter what your music is, you can do this at home to absolutely anything. Take the arms in and out as well. Come on, we're having fun. We're exercising. And take it in and now the opposite leg. It's going in and out. In and out. Very good, Abida. Get that leg moving. Lovely. Now we're going to kick our legs out. So here goes. And point with your opposite hand to the foot. So anything that makes your brain go right-left coordination, it's very good. It's got to be a conscious movement. Reach forward as far as you can. Now what about a little jumping jack and trying to do them both together? Out. Try pushing it down with your hands. Both hands out. Out. Anal? What's anal? Are you all right? Very good. We just got to keep going because this is about keeping the heart, keeping the body moving just for 10 minutes. I think we're over halfway. Now we're going to just cross our arms and our legs. Okay. And can we go a little quicker? No? Maybe not. Oh yeah, you are. Woo! You go as fast as you can, Terry. That's right, Abida. Very good. How are we doing at home? You go at your speed, whatever's working for you. Okay, back to a little march. Here goes. Get your hands moving as well. Dancing in our chairs. Who said you can't dance in a chair? Hands up and down. As if you're pulling on a rope.
How'd you do?
Now, we're taking the legs open and bringing the knees together. So keep your feet on the ground, just bringing the knees together. This is good for the hips as well. Ooh, quicker. That's nice. Ooh. Yeah, more body parts we move, the more that heart's got to be pumping oxygen, blood around the body. Back to marching. Get those shoulders up and going. Now we're going to kick the heels out to the side. Kick them back. Heel to the side. So again, if your heel is comfortable, tap and in. Tap in. Tap in. Tap in. Oh, did we run out of music? How did that happen? Abida, you've done your first 4 exercises. How do you feel? Warmed up?
I feel great. I feel nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Well, that's just 10 minutes. Terry, when you come to classes, how long do we normally do?
Normally 45 minutes.
Oh, how do you feel at the end of 45 minutes?
Sometimes a bit hot.
Sometimes.
It's feeling hot now.
Absolutely. Well, it just shows even 10 minutes can heat you up. You can get your heart going. You can relax all the muscles. You can be using all the different joints. So there we are. That's our 10 minutes of Ageless Grace with Gina today. We're going to go to the break very, very shortly, and I'm looking forward to welcoming back Terry is going to be back with us. We're going to bring on our other special guest, John Pepper. You're going to hear an inspiring story, 2 inspiring stories about living with Parkinson's. So come on the show, come and listen to us after the break and hear all about it. And a big thank you to Abida for being with us and for Terry. Big round of applause, everybody at home. Thanks very much. I'll see you after the break. Welcome back from the break, and here we are, active and healthy with Gina, talking to our special guest today all about what it is to live with Parkinson's. Now, my first guest today is somebody who comes to one of my Ageless Grace classes. His name is Terry Rothwell. So, Terry, wonderful to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's wonderful. I just want to say right up front that you inspired me, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to choose Parkinson's as a subject, to put it onto the show. Because to see somebody who lives with a physical challenge and does not let it define them and is not a victim of it, but is still incredibly active, inspired me. So I just want to say that I want the viewers at home to be able to know that you can have people around you with Parkinson's, as our second guest does, who can inspire other people. So I just want to say you inspired me. So
Thank you very much. I try to be active and look on the positive side.
well, absolutely. So tell us how Parkinson first arrived in your life, when you were diagnosed.
Well, I was doing a lot of cycling. I've completed 13 Argos's. But when I was going downhill at 60 k's an hour and hanging on for dear life and my hands started doing this, it's not conducive to staying on a bicycle.
No, that's kind of a warning signal.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you also said that there were some other basic things at home, domestic.
Yes, well, I found that I couldn't clean my teeth because my hand wouldn't move.
Right,
So the obvious solution, get an electric toothbrush.
very good.
And then later on, typing became a problem, so I started using Dragon Naturally Speaking to talk to my computer.
Excellent.
And now I can do all my spreadsheets, my emails, counting, everything. So but you've got to check it very carefully, because sometimes Dragon misinterprets what you're saying, and the letter can go out and give totally the wrong meaning.
I'm quite sure it can, but isn't it nice to know that there is technology that assists you like that?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But when you were first diagnosed, Terry, that must have been pretty frightening. Had you had anybody or known of anybody who had experience with Parkinson's, that you knew what to expect? What are the basic symptoms that a lot of people expect with Parkinson's?
Well, my mother-in-law had it, and she had a problem walking,
Right.
moving. But fortunately, most of the time I don't have that problem. I can walk all right. But the other problems are shake, of course, and mostly in the right hand.
Okay.
Sometimes slowness of movement, particularly if I don't take the medication on time, then I just slow right down.
Is that something you have to do at set times of the day?
Oh yes, every 3 hours I'm taking my medication.
Okay.
I've got an alarm on my smartphone.
Very
That
practical.
reminds me.
Okay, so you don't forget you have to do that.
Then there's the drooling,
Right.
choking, this sort of thing.
So you've had to live with all of these things. How many years is it now, Terry, that
Oh,
you've
5
had
or 6
Parkinson's?
since I was properly diagnosed. I had a shake before that, but they couldn't say for certain that it was Parkinson's.
Right. And so, having seen your mother-in-law, what did you think? What were your feelings for you that this was now something
But
you had?
horrified, because I was looking forward to a long retirement.
Right.
And probably can do, because my mother lived till 100, my father to 93.
Wow.
So hopefully there's still longevity in the family, but and Parkinson's I don't think actually is a fatal disease. You just get slower and more shaky.
But you do an awful lot of exercise. Do you find that the exercise really helps your symptoms, that you feel you're keeping it at abeyance a little and slowing the process down by all the exercise that you do?
Hopefully, yes. I enjoy the hiking.
And how many hours do you hike in a week, do you think?
Oh, 3 or 4, probably about 4 or 5 kilometres on average.
That's great. And is that on the flat?
Definitely not.
Oh.
In Cape Town, there's mountains to climb.
We are blessed.
I do use 2 sticks for stability, because that's another thing, you lose balance.
Right.
And using 2 sticks, which is fine until the sticks give way and you fall down a mountain.
That's something you need to be careful about.
Yes.
Yes, I hear you had a little fall recently.
Yeah.
And do I hear your wife has banned you from hiking for a bit?
Absolutely, because we're going overseas at the end of the month for 10 weeks to see our children.
And to celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
So, congratulations. That's
She's
fantastic.
given me grey hairs, you see.
Has she? Oh, what about, well, we'll have to see what she would say as well. That's great. Now, what other exercise do you do?
I do Pilates once a week for
Lovely.
an hour, and then the Ageless Grace and hiking, and walking, of course.
Well, you are obviously leading a very, very fit and a very active life. But you were talking about some of the other side effects that you have. Do you think these are side effects from your medication, or do you think they're side effects from Parkinson's?
I think it's the Parkinson's itself.
Right.
One of them is constipation, so I have to constantly take something to
I was about
ease
to
that.
say. Do you have to take supplements for that, or
Yes,
extra fibre?
yes,
And
yeah. A daily pill, and I found that an aloe ferox medication works extremely well.
Excellent. Aloe is good for the digestion,
Yes,
so that's good to
yeah.
know you found something that helps.
Hmm.
Okay, and drooling, you were saying is there any control,
Well,
special things that you
sometimes
can
I
do around
find
that?
that I'm drooling, particularly from my right side.
Right.
Got to be careful when meeting people. Quick wipe.
And do you find things are more on your right side? Because you were saying your right hand is much worse than your left.
Yes, in my case it's the right. I think in some people it's the opposite. It just depends.
But it does tend to be directed more to one side than the other. It's not
Yes,
both of them together,
yes.
so it'll be one or the other side. Well, that's good. Were you right-handed or left-handed? Or
I was right-handed, but I've now learned to use my touchpad for the computer with my left hand,
Right.
and combined with the dragon, I managed to get by.
And you're still very active. I know that there are many different things that you do apart from the physical exercise, because you work as well. You help other people with...
Yes, I do computer support in the southern suburbs, visiting people's homes generally,
Wonderful.
and trying to sort out their computer problems or help them with anything, or buying a tablet or whatever.
Excellent, excellent. So, and I'm sure there are other people just like me that you are inspiring by your activity, by keeping working and doing all the different things, traveling, this wonderful trip you've got coming up to celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
So, Terry, thank you. I think you are really proof that somebody can live with Parkinson's, still lead a very fit and a very active life, and no more falling down mountainsides.
I'll try not to.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Well, I am delighted to welcome my second guest today, John Pepper. Now, John, I was delighted to meet you originally through this great bestseller book of Norman Doidge's. So I couldn't believe the story when I read about this man who had Parkinson's, and then I found out that he lived in South Africa, and then he lived in Cape Town, and now I find you live somewhere where I actually teach Ageless Grace classes, so that was remarkable. So, John, your story is very inspiring, and I look forward to hearing a little bit about it. And I'd love you, please, just to share with us first, when were you first diagnosed with Parkinson's?
Diagnosis was in 1992, 25 years ago,
Right.
but it started in 1963 because Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and a few of these other conditions, they take until you are 70 or 80% down the track before they can diagnose you. So you have the symptoms a long time before you know you have those symptoms.
Right.
So that's the quick answer.
Okay. Now, going from one book to another, John, you are very passionate about this subject and what you've done, and you also yourself have written a book which is now on its 5th edition, which is about reversing Parkinson's, which I only got my hands on yesterday. So I've read as much as I can. It was quite fascinated to get more of your story from your lips as opposed to Norman's.
Yes.
But you spoke about how you felt something of a victim when you first got told that you had Parkinson's, and were somewhat in that victim mentality, but something changed to make you realize that you could see that very differently.
Well, I was going downhill so fast. When I was diagnosed in 92, I couldn't talk properly. I was stuttering. I can't think of words. Talked very quietly. And I was running a big company, which my late wife and I started in 1970. Actually goes back to 63 when my Parkinson's first showed itself. And I don't want to deviate there. When I was diagnosed, I was functioning so badly, I decided to give up my job.
Right.
Running a huge company, employing 1,600 people after those few years.
Right.
And it was too much for me. I don't have a school leaving certificate. To run a huge company, to create a huge company, means that I have the abilities, but I don't have the certificate to go with it.
Right. That must have been a lot of stress in your life as well, which by the sounds of things doesn't help.
Not really.
No?
I've never let it worry me because it doesn't stop me thinking and learning. I mean, I've done a lot of learning. I've got a lot of non-formal informal education, but not a great deal of formal education. Anyway, so in 1992, when I was diagnosed, I was put onto the normal Sinemet medication and Simitrol, which I took for 2 years. But at the same time, I'd been going to the gym and doing an hour's exercise for 6 days of the week.
A lot of exercise.
A lot of exercise. And I decided to increase it to 90 minutes when I got diagnosed. And for the next 2 years, I started going downhill much faster. So exercise is very good for Parkinson's, but it's just not any old exercise,
Right.
as it happens.
Okay.
So when I was going downhill, I'm having resigned from my company as the chairman of the company, I thought, well, I'm going to do some reading now and catch up on music, and I love classical music. And I sat down in a chair after having gone to the gym every morning, and I had breakfast, had a shower and so forth, sat down with a lovely book, and guess what? I fell asleep. Most days I slept quite a lot of the time. Trouble is I couldn't sleep at night time. So I slept all day and
Right.
I stayed awake all night.
All right.
Okay, and which is very common amongst Parkinson patients.
Right.
After 2 years, because I was going downhill so fast, the symptoms were coming left, right and centre, and I decided to give up going to the gym because I'm doing all that work at 5:30 in the morning, going to the gym,
And not getting a result.
and not only not getting a result, going downhill faster.
Right.
So I gave it up. But my late wife had been going to something in South Africa called Run, Walk for Life, and she had lost 14 kilograms in weight.
Very
She wasn't
good.
all that overweight.
Yeah.
She had come off all her blood pressure and antidepressant pills.
Right.
Now, I don't know why she was depressed married to a man like me.
Can't imagine.
No, they can I. So, and she was so bubbling healthy.
Right.
And she said to me, John, join Walk for Life. I said, what can 9 hours do? What can 3 hours of walking do that 9 hours in the gym doesn't do?
Right.
So she said, I don't know, but it works. And quite a few people had overcome all sorts of problems, not just blood pressure problems and that sort of thing, but to do with obesity and so forth,
Right.
and sugar diabetes and so forth. Anyway, I started, after 3 months, I just said, well, I'll join, but just to show you that you're wrong.
Ah.
And we had a very good relationship. We didn't fight.
Well, you were married for many years. weren't
51
you?
years,
That's
yes.
fantastic.
And bless her, she put me on the right road because 4 months after I started Walk for Life, my
Your
symptoms started disappearing.
Right.
4 years later, I was able to come off medication. Well, I didn't come off medication then, but 4 years later, I was living a normal life.
Which is
I only
very
knew that
dramatic.
when a friend in my company, one of the managers, saw me in a shopping mall, and he came up to me and he said, John, you're looking so good.
Right.
An accusation, because I hadn't noticed that I was, slowly. It's so slow that you
Yeah.
don't notice it. And only when he told me that, and Shirley said, my late wife, when we think about it, you are looking a lot better.
Your face is remarkably animated and a
Now,
big
yes.
smile for somebody you're
Not then,
82
it was
years old,
82 years.
which is very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
And I know that you're very passionate about teaching other people exactly how they can improve their own symptoms
Yeah.
through walking and through conscious movement. Can you tell us quickly about that?
Well, I'm trying to go to all the English-speaking countries, not because I don't want to go anywhere else, but because I only speak English. And I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, Holland, Amsterdam, and they all speak English in Holland, and England, of course. I haven't been all over England or all over anywhere, except I went to all the major cities in Australia, New Zealand,
Right.
and Canada, and one or two of them, 7 of them to be precise, in America. And I show people how they can walk normally, even though they don't know.
Right.
People out of wheelchairs, people with walkers, walking sticks, immediately are able to walk properly when they're told how.
That's very
Because
dramatic.
we have 2 parts of our brain for movement.
Yeah.
One is conscious movement and the other one is subconscious movement. Now, most things you do subconsciously. You don't walk consciously, you don't bring food to your mouth consciously, you don't write consciously. But if you concentrate on doing them, all those movements, you can do them.
Wonderful.
I'll
And for
show
you,
them how to do them, yes.
and you yourself have also been able to consciously be able to draw straight lines and paint, and we're going to see one of your paintings
Thank you.
in a few minutes as well, which is absolutely remarkable.
Thank you.
Because as we know, Parkinson's is elements of shaking, but you would never know to look at this painting, and I've seen some of your other paintings that you've done are quite fantastic.
Thank you. Well, You see, I started to paint after I went on a cruise with my wife, and they had an art teacher on board, and I used to draw. I said, "Oh, I'd love to." Drawing was easy enough, but I'm starting now, shaking already thinking about it. And the drawings were really shaky and so forth. And he said, "You must go for lessons because I can draw." I used to be able to draw. And I went to an art school, and the first thing she did was take us all to the zoo. She says, "I want you to paint an animal, any animal you like." So I couldn't get these animals to stand still.
No, they don't do that.
I didn't know that.
John, I regret that there is so much that we could ask you, and we might need to make this a much longer show for you, because you have a very big story. Your book is a wonderful way to be able to inspire and show other people what we need to do, and I think your painting alone shows us what people can achieve. And at 82, the fact I know you're about to leave on a 3.5-month trip to English-speaking countries to go and inspire other people.
Just America mainly. But
just America mainly. Well, I mean, that's... Mind you, yes, it is still an English-speaking... It is still.
Sort of.
Sort of. But I just want to say thank you very much and sharing a little bit of your story. And to thank our viewers today for coming and meeting Terry and John Pepper, my special guests, two men who live with Parkinson's but are not defined by it. And we will have articles, we will have things added to the Facebook page and to the blog so that you will be able to find out more and realize that there really is hope, even with Parkinson's.